We are following the results from yesterday's primary elections in 6 different states. This as votes, are still being counted in the governor's race in California. At least at last check, 58% of the ballots are in a chaotic field of more than 60 candidates. Republican Steve Hilton and Democrats Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer are leading. They're leading candidates. They were optimistic last night when they addressed their supporters.
We're not there yet, but it's looking good.
There are lots of ballots left to be counted. It appears that we are on track to advance to November.
We're going to give democracy a time to work, and we know we finished really strong.
All right, let's bring in CBS News White House and Politics Executive Director Fin Gomez. Good to see you once again today, Fin. So both Hilton and Steyer positioned themselves as people who will shake up the system. Were they the candidates that were expected to lead this race?
Look, this has been a roller coaster of a race,
Yes.
Mugo, with changing frontrunners throughout the duration of this cycle. Javier Becerra was widely seen as one of the most experienced Democrats in the field, but this race was so crowded, Mugo, that there was a real uncertainty about who would emerge from California's jungle primary. Former Fox News host Steve Hilton successfully consolidated much of the Republican vote in a state where Democrats still hold a huge registration advantage. And at the same time, Becerra's experience as California Attorney General and former HHS Secretary under Joe Biden appears to have resonated with some Democratic voters. And remember, he consolidated a lot of that establishment vote after Eric Swalwell dropped out amid sexual assault allegations. So if these results hold, Californians will get a very clear choice in November between a Trump-backed Republican in Hilton promising change and disruption and a longtime Democratic establishment figure in Becerra promising experience. But again, as you said, results are still coming in, and we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Okay, so things are still undecided right now in the race for LA mayor, but CBS News projects incumbent Karen Bass will advance to the November election. Now, former reality star Spencer Pratt, he is not far behind. What are we hearing from the candidates?
Yeah, look, Mayor Bass is making the case that her administration is making progress and deserves more time to finish the job. Pratt is making almost the exact opposite argument here. He's running as an anti-establishment outsider candidate. He's been telling voters that Bass and city leaders have failed LA on issues that hit closest to home, like affordability, but also response to natural disasters like fires. But what is remarkable here, Mugo, is that Pratt entered this race as someone many political observers dismissed outright. A celebrity candidate, not a serious one, but that frustration with the status quo that we've seen across the political landscape this year appears to be real, and his message is connecting with that voter. And then there's, of course, Councilwoman Nithya Raman, who's offering a more progressive vision, and she's in third currently. So what you have is really 3 candidates all talking about change, but different definitions of what that change is.
Okay, so let's talk about Iowa Senate race as well, because Democrats, they're hoping to flip a seat there. What is the November election ultimately going to look like?
Yeah, this race itself has a lot of implications here. It immediately moves into the competitive board. Republicans nominated Congresswoman Ashley Hinton, while Democrats chose State Representative Josh Turek, a moderate Democrat and a Paralympic gold medalist who party leaders believe can compete and they believe can flip that seat. Democrats see this as an opportunity because it's an open Senate seat and because they're hoping the national political climate favors them. But Iowa, as you know, remains a state President Trump carried by 13 points back in 2024 in that presidential cycle over Kamala Harris. So Republicans begin with an advantage, but issues like the impact of Iran's war on fuel prices and tariffs are having a real impact in the Hawkeye state, especially among the agrarian community, the farmers there, I'm told by both Iowa and Iowa Democrat and Republican operatives that I spoke to. But the bigger story right now, I think, is that the Iowa is now has 2 major statewide races worth watching this fall: the Hinton-Turek Senate race and the open governor's race between Republican Zach Lane and Democratic State Auditor Rob Sand. Mugo.
November just around the corner. We'll see what happens. Fin Gomez.
Yes. 5
Thank
months.
you.
5 months.
I know.
Let's go.
It's almost here.
Yeah.